You start with nothing. No land, no title, no inheritance waiting behind a dying father's cough, just a stomach that growls louder than your pride and a winter that chews through your boots. Born in the wrong house on the wrong side of the castle walls while nobles feast and you count copper. Priests preach mercy and you pray for bread, but mercy doesn't pay and hunger does. So when the job offer comes, it doesn't arrive with ceremony, but with a corpse. The last executioner drank himself blind and missed a swing. The crowd laughed. The condemned bled slowly. The king was embarrassed, and embarrassment is expensive, so they need someone steady, desperate, disposable, and you step forward because starving with dignity is still starving, and dignity is a currency poor men can't spend. They brand you royal executioner, and you tell yourself it's just a job, a service. Someone has to do it. You're not killing people, you're enforcing order, and order feeds you. The first time you hold the axe, it feels heavier than iron should. The crowd smells like sweat and entertainment because executions are theater for peasants. Justice as spectacle. You kneel the condemned forward, notice his neck is thinner than expected. You swing, it's clean. The crowd roars, and just like that, you're valuable. Not respected, not loved. Valuable. The crown pays you enough to move your family out of the mud streets, enough for meat twice a week, enough that shopkeepers stop pretending not to see you, but they still won't touch you. Children stare, women pull sleeves back, men shake your hand only when they need a favor. You are necessary filth. You learn execution isn't about strength, but precision, efficiency, branding. A messy death makes the king look weak. A swift one makes him look merciful. Mercy delivered by your blade. You begin to understand the economics of fear. Public hangings increase tax compliance. Beheadings quiet rebellion. Torture extracts names that protect investments. You're not killing people, you're stabilizing markets. The faster you work, the dirtier the work becomes. Traitors, thieves, rebels, then debtors, then critics. The line between justice and inconvenience blurs, and you stop asking which is which because questions are luxuries for men without responsibilities. You sharpen your own blades, calculate neck width and spine angle, turn death into mathematics because math doesn't feel. Then one day the crack appears not as a scream but as a familiar face, a childhood friend accused of sedition, wrong opinion, wrong time. You tell yourself the charges must be real, the crown wouldn't lie. You kneel him forward, he doesn't fight. You bury empathy because empathy is a bad investment. You swing, it's clean. The crowd roars, something inside you doesn't. That's the day you stop pretending you're surviving and admit you're thriving. The king notices your efficiency and you're summoned into the palace, not just as executioner, but as problem solver. Sometimes there is no crowd, just a dungeon, a candle, a noble who miscalculated loyalty. You see the politics, parasites in silk, calculating inheritance timelines, a king terrified of looking weak, and you are his insurance policy. You negotiate your price, extra coin for private work, land on the outskirts, protection for your family. You build a small estate funded by severed heads because blood money compounds fast. You convince yourself you're untouchable because you know too much. You mistake proximity to power for power itself, and that's your first fatal error. The second is believing loyalty goes both ways. Years pass, your name becomes legend. Criminals confess at the mention of you. Mothers use you to silence children. You stop seeing faces, only targets, only tasks. Then a shift in the court. A new advisor, younger, smarter, cleaner hands. He doesn't like loose ends, and you are the loosest end in the kingdom. You've executed nobles, buried scandals, heard final confessions that could burn dynasties. You're a walking archive of royal sins, and that makes you dangerous. The summons feels different, too formal. You enter through the front gate, guards flank you with hands resting too comfortably on swords. You feel it before you hear it. Treason, fabricated charges, conspiracy, abuse of power. The irony is almost artistic because you built your life enforcing accusations, and now you are one. You think about running or exposing secrets, but the system you served is airtight. Every witness loyal, every record rewritten, every ally silent. You taught them how fear works, and now they're applying the lesson. The cell is familiar. You know where the stones dip and where the air turns damp, because you've walked prisoners down this corridor hundreds of times. You sit where they sat and understand something simple and brutal. You were never power. You were a tool, and tools get replaced. Execution day arrives, and the crowd is bigger than usual because they love spectacle, especially ironic ones. A new executioner stands where you once stood, young, steady, desperate. You almost respect him. You kneel forward, the wood smells the same. The crowd hums like a hungry animal. You finally grasp the truth. The crown doesn't rule through justice, but through fear, and fear always needs a face. Today, that face is yours. The blade falls, darkness swallows you, and you become a warning story told to the next desperate man offered a well-paying job no one else wants. This wasn't just a story about an executioner, but about what happens when survival turns into ambition, and ambition blinds you to the cage you're building for yourself. So tell me, at what point would you have walked away? The first innocent? The first noble? Or would you have convinced yourself you were just doing your job? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you want more brutally honest POV stories about power, corruption, and the price of survival, subscribe.